Japan is breaking, but it is not yet surrendering. Its cities burn under relentless bombing, its navy is gone, and yet the war refuses to end. In Washington, a single weapon now offers a way out: the atomic bomb. One strike, perhaps two, and the war could be over in days. On President Harry S. Truman's desk lies a letter from physicist Leo Szilard. It warns of a force unlike anything in human history, a weapon capable of not just destroying a city, but of opening the door to something far more dangerous, a future where such a power cannot be contained. Truman reads it and hesitates, because there is another way already in motion: a blockade of Japan. Tiger Force had been an idea long before it became real. At the Quebec Conference in 1944, Britain had made a promise to stand beside the United States in the final defeat of Japan, just as America had helped finish the war in Europe. But turning that promise into reality proves far harder. At the centre of it all is one man, Air Marshal Hugh Lloyd. He's been given an impossible task: build a bomber force on the other side of the world with no base, no certainty and no time. Later he would describe it simply: shifting from Europe to the Pacific was not like turning over a pancake, because nothing is ready. The plan shifts constantly. 1 month the force is bound for Luzon, the next Guam, then Okinawa. Each time everything changes and nothing gets built. Runways have been carved out of rough ground, fuel systems laid across unfamiliar terrain, entire camps raised under a punishing tropical sun. They are not just deploying aircraft, they also need vehicles, equipment and engineers. But behind the planning another problem lingers. The war in Europe is over. For many crews this isn't just a mission, it's a war that refuses to end. They are exhausted, some are reluctant, others look at the vast Pacific ahead and wonder what waits them there. Long ocean flights, unknown bases and a different kind of war. And as Tiger Force slowly takes shape, a quiet doubt follows it. Because every night American bombers are already burning Japan, every week the pressure tightens, and the question grows harder to ignore: by the time they arrive, will there be anything left to bomb? By November 1945, the elements of Tiger Force reach Okinawa. The island is already overflowing with American aircraft. Runways stretch in every direction, engines never stop turning, and the air feels permanently alive with war. Off to one side the British bombers sit apart, repainted for a different theatre. White above to reflect the brutal Pacific sun, black below to vanish into the night. There are no vast radar networks waiting them, no swarms of night fighters rising to meet them. They would be bombing only at night once again. For many of the crews, the difference is immediate. This ocean beneath them, but there is something else here too, a kind of threat that they have never faced before: kamikaze attacks. Sudden, deliberate and final. Not a battle for survival in the air, but an enemy willing to turn the aircraft itself into a weapon. On the night of December 1st, 1945, the order finally comes: Tiger Force will strike Japan. Across Okinawa, engines turn over one by one, building into a low rolling thunder that spreads across the airfield. Then, into the dark, the first Lancasters lift. Behind them something newer follows, the Avro Lincoln. Longer wings with a greater range and a higher ceiling, built to fly further and carry more than the Lancaster ever could. It's an aircraft designed for a different war. The route north is long and empty. Hours pass over black water. In Europe, a bombing mission might last 6, maybe 8 hours. This is different. 12, 14 and sometimes longer. A single operation stretching across an entire night and day. With no landmarks and no rescue if something goes wrong, just distance. Inside the aircraft the strain builds quietly. In the rear turret, gunners shift and flex where they can, fighting off the cramping that comes from being locked in position for so long. But no one leaves their post. Ahead, Japan begins to take shape, a faint coastline, then light. Searchlights reach upward, thin at first, then multiplying. Flak follows, rising in scattered bursts, but it is nothing like Germany. The defences feel worn down. Japanese fighters enjoy the lower altitude of the Lincoln and claim several victories. The Lincoln is not pressurised like its American counterpart, the B-29. At the centre of the formation, the most experienced crews hold steady. Below them lies Kokura. Once marked as a primary atomic target, it is now marked for something else. The bomb bays open and bombs fall, not a single blinding flash but a steady deliberate destruction. They are targeting railway lines, factories and storage depots. Targets chosen carefully, not for spectacle, but to usher a twilight to Hirohito's rising sun. Tiger Force returns every night. More squadrons follow, number 57 Squadron and number 100 Squadron, building a force that grows night by night. However, there is no single overwhelming stream of bombers filling the sky. Instead, they arrive in waves, limited by distance and logistics. When 617 Squadron attacks, it is precise. Tallboy bombs fall cleanly through hardened targets, bridges collapse, tunnels cave in, the last threads of Japan's transport network begin to snap. Behind them the rest follow. Lincolns lay down high explosives, others bring incendiaries. Fire spreads where structure has already been broken. It is methodical, relentless and increasingly unnecessary, because with each passing day it becomes clearer, Japan is already finished. The war doesn't end in a moment, it slowly fades. By early 1946, Japan is no longer fighting to win, only to continue. The raids keep coming, ports are empty, and railway lines begin to fail. Supplies vanish somewhere between sea and shore. Inside the government, the strain finally breaks it. What had held together through fire and defeat begins to fracture from within. An anti-war coup led by Prince Fumimaro Konoha sweeps aside what remains of control, and with it the war ends. Tiger Force is still flying when it happens. Crews briefed for targets that no longer matter. Aircraft turning back to bases that feel further away each time. And quietly among the commanders, the realisation settles in. They had arrived at the end, not to decide the war, but to witness it closing. And for a brief moment, Britain was there.